So we're going to be writing our first error checking code. I do warn you, by the way, in real code, quite a lot of it can end up being error checking code. And some estimates have been up to over 75%. So it's quite normal that quite a lot of lines of code are to do with error checking. We can't trust them, their users, to be putting sensible input in. So by the end of the video, we will have a situation like this, where if we put in a word that's too short, like plan, when we're looking for 6 letters, then our debugger is going to notice that our status is coming back as wrong length, and it will catch that just before the whole thing crashes. So let's dive in and see how to catch this error. Welcome back. Let's get this check guess validity method actually working. Because I'm focusing on it, I'm just going to give myself a little more space so I can see it there. Delete what's in there for now. Let's start pseudocoding what it's going to do. So we're going to say that if the guess isn't an isogram, then return an error. And we've got the error status ready. If the guess isn't all lowercase, return an error. Now, you could start to just, use indentation here. That's slightly better than comma return error. So you can indent your pseudocode. That's fine. And then we could just say if the guess length is wrong, then return an error. And then we're just going to say else, otherwise, let's just use otherwise, just to get away from the habit of kind of writing code in pseudocode. Otherwise, return OK. That's the structure. That is it. It's as simple as that. So let's start coding this up. We're going to need a couple of supporting methods, by the way, which we don't have, and we'll do in a separate video. We don't have methods for isogram and lowercase. But for now, to get this code working, let's just say if false. So this condition will never happen. That the fact that it isn't an isogram isn't going to happen for now. So if false, then we can come here and go squiggle. What do? Well, we return an error. How do we do that? Well, we go BC. We go return. It's an enumeration, and it's now called, what do we call it? Word status. I'm actually a bit uncomfortable with word status. I would rather it was guess status. I'll change that in a second. But if the guess isn't an isogram, return not isogram. That's the general pattern there. Okay? Now, we don't need return an error as a comment. I don't think that's particularly useful. So, word status. I just want to rename it. Highlight, Control R. And let's go to guess status. I just feel more comfortable. So if you think you're going to feel more comfortable with a different name, try it on. Okay, so now what do we do? Now we do for the first time an else if. And the condition is, we're going to say the condition's false, i.e. we're not going to detect the error now till we've written the method. But we're going to say, if the guess isn't all lowercase, what are we going to do? And then, well, we're going to return some enumeration. It's called guess status, a bit easier to find now. And then we're going to use colon, because we're accessing a member, like this is accessing a member here. A member, not lowercase. All right, so that's your else if. Now, don't worry, I'm going to leave some of this to you. In fact, you're going to do the next else if condition. The next else if condition is going to be false for now, but you're going to change it into actual logic in a second for the if the guess length is wrong. Okay. Then you'd return another error, and I'll leave you to even return the error. And that's going to go there. And then we're going to have one more thing, which is the else that catches the final case, which is that we then go ahead and just return eGuess status. Okay, I want you to see the general pattern. We don't need any of these comments. The whole thing fits on the screen. If it's not an isogram, and later we'll have supporting methods in here and here. So we check isogram, lowercase, length, and then we say OK if we can't find any of these things wrong with it. It doesn't mean it's OK, it just means we can't find anything wrong with it, right? I'm actually just going to pop in a return value here because I want this code to be compilable. So there's the return length error. Great. All right. So now we have all of our conditions and all of our errors. These falses are going to need to be replaced. Let's make sure that this actually gets called at some point. Let's go to main and have a look inside play game. Now, I'm not really liking the look of this play game. I'm going to just do a bit of tidying up. I'm going to put the to do on the end here to reduce the number of lines. and I'm going to make loop checking valid. No, I'm going to get guess is what we're saying is we want to change the get valid guess or something later. So I'm going to put that down here and say make something like this to do make that change to get valid guess. And that'll loop asking for a guess. So that's a bit clearer. So it goes and gets a guess, submits the valid guess to the game and receives the count, prints the number of bulls and cows, and we don't need a space before that end line. All right, that's good. So what I had there is a little panic that I hit play game and it just looked too ugly to understand where I even need to put my line. Great, so we go get the guess. Now let's just go check the guess is valid. So how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to make myself an enum, which is an e-guess status now. I'm going to call it status. And then I'm going to call bcgame.check validity, check guess validity, with the guess that we just got in the line above here. Right? And I don't think we really need to comment that. It's quite clear. So this is how we use the debugger to see the value of status, the value that's coming back from this. We could put a watch on this, or you can store it in a variable called status and pop yourself a breakpoint anytime after that line. Let's have a look. Let's run the Windows debugger. Put anything in. Like, I don't know, let's put in planes, which is close to planet. And then the debugger comes back here, stops, and it says status OK. So that proves that OK has come out, and it will have done because we've gone through all of these falses until we've got down to the OK. Great. So now you have everything you need to be able to actually write the simple logic in here to finish this off. So, write the word length check. No need to call any helper methods at the moment. Use that syntax, not equals for not equals. Call get hidden word length as we've got it rather than interrogating hidden word dot length. And test the value using the debugger as I just showed you. So pause the video, have a go, get this finished off and actually try putting some guesses in that are the wrong length. And the debugger should tell you that the error status is coming back. Cool, welcome back. So this is hopefully pretty simple. What we're doing is we're saying guess, we're saying put your machine into insert mode, Ben. We're saying guess dot length. Now, we don't have guess, and that's because I never made a handle for the incoming parameter. When we declare a method like this, we don't have to give ourselves a variable name, right? We don't have to give a handle to hold on to this to, but when we implement, we do need a handle. So there's guess. Now guess.length will work, and if guess.length is not equal to get, now we can call it directly, get hidden word length, because we're inside the class here. If it's not equal to get hidden word length. Now, why not just compare it to the word length? You could, but I prefer to call the method if we've got a method. In case get hidden word length does something different later, then we know that this is the one place we call it. Okay, even though we've got access to the hidden word directly, why not use the method that we've got that does it? It's just a bit safer for modified code. All right, so now we should get an error coming back about the wrong length if we have the wrong length. We have our breakpoint in place. Let's try it. Firstly, let's see that we still get OK, planes. What do we get? Guess status OK. Fantastic. So I'm going to continue the debugger. Now let's try plan. Return. Aha. Look at this. We've got all sorts of problems, and we know that our code is about to crash, but the most important thing is that we've caught it because the status has come back wrong length. If we allowed it to continue running now, we get our horrible error. But the cool thing is that we got a load of red in our debugger, and we got an error status back before, let's try that again, before it actually crashed. Plan, it's gone red, it's got some problems, but we've got wrong length, and we can intercept it now. Awesome. So we have done our first bit of proper error checking. So congratulations on that, and I'll see you soon.